Okay, now we're ready to start our second video, or second lesson, and that is solving two-step equations. And let's make this into our slideshow. So again, we're going to solve two-step equations. And so first of all, again, when you're solving equations, you are simply finding the number that would make that equation true. So I would like you to see if you can figure out what's going to go in the missing spaces here to figure out what makes those equations true. So on the first one, we're taking 2 times some number, that means multiplication again, plus 5 gives us 19. So this part right here has to be 14, because that's what you would add to 5 to get to 19. So that makes this number needing to be 7. So we've kind of figured out it's going to be. We can guess and check. We can trial and error, or we can kind of work through our formal operations, and that's what I'm trying to get you to understand right now, is those formal operations as we go through our examples here. So this part of it, okay, what number would we subtract 2 from to get to 5? Well, that needs to be 7, because 7 minus 2 equals 5. So we're not really guessing and checking, we're just kind of thinking it about. So what number would I have to divide 3 by to get to 7? That would be our 21. So the missing number in here would be 21. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go on to our examples. There we go. So here's our first example. And typically when we're solving two-step equations, we're going to do what is the order of operations in reverse order. So we want to figure out what this number is going to be. What's that 3x going to have to equal? So to do that, we're going to subtract 7. So we're going to start by subtracting the 7 on both sides. That didn't look very good. So now we've got what the 3x is, because the 3x is considered like a term. So 25 minus 7, that is 18. So we treat that's one step. So we're going to subtract 7 is our first step on both sides. Okay, that's key to think about what we're doing to both sides of our equation. And now we've got 3 times x equals 18. So remembering our one step, this is multiplication. So we need to solve that by dividing by 3. On both sides. Okay, so multiplying by 3, dividing by 3 just gives us our x. That simplifies that out. Equals 18 divided by 3 gives us our 6. So there is our solution. And to check that, 3 times 6, right, plus our 7 will give us our 25, because that's 18 plus the 7. Okay, so we've done a two-step operation. We started by subtracting the 7, and then we did the division step. So that's our first example. Let's move on to the next one. So our next equation is slightly different. Again, we're going to solve it formally. But now we have an addition and a division. So again, we're going to start with the addition. So instead of adding 6, we need to subtract the 6 on both sides. Okay. Ooh, we got a negative. Okay. So -4 minus 6. And again, this is our sign numbers. I'm not sure how good each of you are in understanding that idea, but -4 minus 6 gives us a -10. This is where I like to think of it as adding a -6 to both sides. because adding a -6 or subtracting 6 are the exact same thing. So we're going to keep throwing some negatives in there. So now we have n divided by 3 gives us our -10. So since this is division, so then we are going to, let's go with a different color here. Now we're going to multiply both sides because it was division in the equation. So we're going to multiply both sides by our 3 and show that with parentheses. Dividing by 3, multiplying by 3 cancel each other out, giving us just the n equals -30. So our check would be that -30 divided by 3 plus 6 gives us a -4. So that's a -10, kind of running out of room, plus 6 equals -4. So if we go back and think about it in the original one, what would I add to us? Add to 6 to give us -4. Okay, and that number would need to be the -10. So, okay, let's move on. Okay, so this equation has division in it, but it's got two things that are all over 2. So in this case, when we have multiple things that are divided by the same item here, we're going to do the multiplying first. So we're going to multiply, not working very well, both sides of our equation by the 2. Again, it's order of operations backwards, which means if we knew what y was, we would add 3 to it first and then divide. So we're going to do that. So step 1, we're going to multiply both sides by the 2. So I can put parentheses around that, show my multiplication. I don't usually have to do that one, but so that this 2 is going to take care of this 2. So this 2 and this 2, the division and the multiplication cancel each other out, leaving us with simply ry plus 3. And that's going to give us a -14 over there. So this is a case where we do the multiplication part first, is if we've got multiple things divided by or all over the same number like that. So now the inverse of addition is subtraction. So we're going to subtract 3 or add a -3 again. So in this case, our y is a -17. Again, if you're not sure about those things, you can use a calculator to kind of help you out to kind of figure out what those, how to deal with the negative numbers. So that's our solution, and our check would be -17 plus 3 all over 2 equals a -7. So again, order of operations, in this case, we would do the addition part first. That gives us a -14 divided by 2, which will give us our -7. So it checks out, and it works out. So those are a few examples of solving multiple step problems. So again, go ahead and work on the worksheet, the practice problems, and maybe using a paper and pencil to kind of show those steps and work those out, because I'm going to be asking you questions that are going to be like, well, what do you do to both sides, or what's your first step? So here our first step was to multiply both sides by the 2, as well as just simply solving those out and showing your work steps. So do the best you can with solving those out. If you have questions, let me know via the email, and we'll see if I can help you out. All right.